Hey everyone, welcome back to NFL Network. Look who's joining us now. One of the greatest of all time, LaDainian Tomlinson, here to talk a little Vikings with us. How's it going, man?
Great, going wonderful.
Okay, good. In Minnesota, we're working on some offensive things. We got a new offensive advisor, a new offensive coordinator. Gary Kubiak joins our staff, helping Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah.
We got Kirk Cousins, we got Dalvin Cook. What do you think about our offense and the chances for success in 2019?
Well, I love the addition of having Gary Kubiak come, because that system, I think it fits perfectly with where Minnesota is on offense right now. You're talking about everything starts with the stretch zone, outside zone run. And obviously Dalvin Cook is one of the best at getting on the perimeter, using his speed, making people miss on the perimeter and creating big plays. Now what comes off of that? Play action pass. Kirk Cousins has always been good at the play action pass game. So I think when you look at this marriage with Gary, and this offense, and obviously, you have the receivers and Diggs and Thielen, those guys, I expect big things to happen. Now, obviously the offensive line has to be shored up. They still have some work to do there, but just looking at it on paper with Gary, I'm pretty excited about that team.
So what do you think the biggest key is for the Vikings offense? I mean, you mentioned just now a lot of components to it. But what's going to be the key? What's going to make it all gel?
Well, honestly, the key is offensive line. The offensive line brings all that talent together. And you know what? The offensive line does the dirty work, so us skilled guys get to look good, right? The running backs and the receivers, we get to look good if the offensive line is doing their job because they're keeping Kirk upright. And so that's the key. I have they got great chemistry already. You can see that the guys love playing with Kirk. I just think if they can solidify the offensive line going into training camp, then I think they're on their way.
All right, Dalvin Cook. We're really happy that we have Dalvin Cook. He's missed some games because of injury, but when he's been on the field, he's looked like a special player to us. Does it look that way to you too?
No question about it. This guy's a game breaker, and I love it because for me, I love running backs that can do everything. He's not just a runner. He can catch it out the backfield. He can run routes out the backfield. He's a matchup nightmare. And then, he's willing to step in there and protect the quarterback.
That's right.
And so that's when you get a guy that, you say, hey, this is someone we can depend on. And then, quite honestly, a guy like Latavius Murray becomes expendable because Dalvin Cook is growing into that featured role.
So what's the best way to complement someone like Dalvin Cook? You were the workhorse for a long time in your career. What were the key to complementary backs for you?
Well, just give him some rest every now and then.
Okay.
Just have another guy that can come in and roll and pound on the defense. In my case, if you remember, I had Michael Turner, big bruiser back that got in there and pounded that defense for me, and then I can come back in and kind of slash them and rip them up. I can kind of see the same things happening there in Minnesota. Maybe you draft a guy this year, who knows? But bring in a guy that can pound on the defense a little bit, and then bring Dalvin back in and let him hit the home run.
A guy who sometimes gets forgotten about in all of this conversation is our tight end, Kyle Rudolph. Who's been a really reliable target for Vikings quarterbacks since he came into the league in 2011. You played with a really good tight end, guy who's going to go to the Hall of Fame. What's it like having that presence in your offense?
Well, it's certainly a comfortability thing that you have with the great tight end, and especially a guy that can not just catch the ball, but he's a great blocker as well. And so as a runner, I know I can depend on Kyle, to get that edge and really hold that point of attack, but also give us the necessary yards we need, sometimes on 2nd and 10. Give us 7 yards, make it third and manageable. And then on third downs, help us get that first down on 3rd and 5. Kyle has been so great at doing that. And really what he asks, what he brings to a team is really irreplaceable. But the comfort that he gives the quarterback like Kirk, that's a relationship you really love to see because they do have a great relationship. And I expect Kyle to continue to play at a high level.
All right, last one, Diggs and Thielen.
Yeah.
That's the duo the Vikings have at wide receiver. It's been really productive the last few seasons. What are your perceptions of those two guys, maybe individually, but also a tandem because defenses have to worry about both guys?
Right. Well, as a tandem, I think they're the best thing going right now in football. As a tandem, absolutely. I mean, our show on Game Day Prime last year, we talked about those two guys a lot, that they're the best two in the game because they're so consistent. And I love how they work well off each other. Thielen is a guy that really is an exceptional route runner. You know, he's a master at running routes and making everything look the same. And then Diggs is a dynamic guy. You know, he wants to go deep sometimes, but also he can take the underneath stuff and take it to the house. And so they complement each other so well. It's really fun to watch those guys play.
All right, turn around, look at that right there. That was almost you. Do you remember that?
I do. In fact, I still got my Vikings 21 Tomlinson jersey at home.
Do you really?
Yes, I do.
All right.
I still got it.
Yeah, we almost had you. Yeah, we almost had you. But we got you today, and we're very appreciative of it. So thanks for your time, man.
Sure, my pleasure.